Tom Tom in 20 minutes, right?
That's right. He'll be on.
So because we have so much sports in the rearview mirror and we have sports ahead of us, should we go through the Oscar noms? Because I want Max's opinions for sure. Chris, you've seen a handful of these movies as well.
Help is on the way!
Oh, Tommy wants to partake.
Help's on the way. Max knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's go through this.
I think you
I haven't even seen him yet.
Let's go.
Let's start with
And
Best
this just came
Picture.
out this morning, is that right? Okay, got it.
Yep. Here's the nominees for Best Picture for the Oscars. Begonia.
Great movie. Yorgos, the guy that made Poor Things. He's him and Emma Stone is his muse, and Jesse Plemons is maybe one of the most maybe the most underrated actor in Hollywood right now. It's a great movie, very strange, but actually for him more palpable than some of his other movies because he's a weird dude.
Okay. F1.
Oh
yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
I'm surprised it's in Best Picture, but it was a good movie. It was a good popcorn movie, but I am kind of surprised that it's in Best Picture. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
So much.
Frankenstein.
I have not.
Slow. That movie's super slow.
Is that the one on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard good things, but yeah.
Oscar Isaac he was great as the Dr. Frankenstein. Jacob Elordi.
Did he also play Frankenstein?
I think it's Frankenstein.
No makeup.
Yeah, Zach thinks that Jacob Elordi just went in there just raw dog and no makeup or nothing and just was Frankenstein. But I thought it was great. I haven't finished it though. Hamnet might win Best Picture. If I was a voter, I might have to vote for Hamnet to win Best Picture because
depressing as hell.
It is very sad, but at the end you'll feel inspired.
Okay.
I literally after the movie, I've cried at a lot of movies. I don't think I've ever started crying explaining why I was crying after I had already seen the movie. That's how moved I was. And the last scene is just breathtaking.
I love to cry.
Same.
Marty Supreme.
Crying.
I mean, yeah, it's if Marty Supreme is up there as well. I would say Marty Supreme, Hamnet, One Battle After Another. I would assume is
that's
in
the next
there
one.
as
One
well.
Battle After Another.
Those are going to be the top three that are contending for that Best Picture.
Yeah.
But Marty Supreme, Timothée Chalamet has every reason to have been as brash about that movie as he was.
All right, the other four are The Secret Agent.
That's like one of the few I haven't seen that one yet.
I don't even know what that is.
That's I forget the guy's name, but he's a really good actor. He's just barely in stuff. Yeah, it was. Thank you, Sauce.
I had no idea. Okay.
You're a cinephile.
Sentimental Value.
Yes. Okay. Sentimental Value is not a movie that's for everyone. It's a lot of these movies this year. I feel like the underlying theme in most of these movies is intra-family drama and just kind of like the experience, the tragedies and trials and tribulations and happiness sometimes of being a parent. And it's like about this guy who's like a director. And he's trying to kind of reconnect with his kids and whatnot. And it's probably best soundtrack of any movie this year, but it is phenomenal. One of the Skarsgård dad, Sven Skarsgård, he's the main character in that one.
Well, it's funny because best original score, Scott Stapp, Sentimental Value.
Yeah.
Well, great. Are you being serious?
No, I'm kidding. Sinners.
What would you joke about that?
Correct.
Sinners.
Yeah, Sinners. Sinners it's just a phenomenal movie. One of the most original concepts that we saw this year, absolutely. And Ryan Coogler, if he doesn't win Best Picture, should probably win Best Director. And I mean, like, how often for Marty Supreme and for Sinners, it was really cool to just see people flock to the theater to see an original movie, not a reboot, not a remake, not a sequel, a brand new original movie. And every single time Ryan Coogler's ever made a movie, it's become a cultural phenomenon because he also directed Black Panther as well. So every single time he makes a movie, it's a thing. It's like it's a defining thing of that year. Like I would say there's better movies, but Sinners was the defining movie of 2025.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that musical scene. Speaking of music, that if there was a nomination for Scene of the Year, that would hands down win 100%.
Then the last film, Train Dreams.
That was a straight to Netflix kind of bit. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
It's one of those. I think it's about this guy who's like a logger or something like that. He lives in the forest and it kind of goes through his life. It's got I can't think of the guy's name, but he's been in a million movies. I think that's the only one that you've named so far that I haven't seen.
Okay. So Best Actor. The 5 nominees are Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners.
Hell yeah.
And something called Wagner Mora for The Secret Agent.
Yeah, you guys would know him if you saw him. This guy. You've seen this guy before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Every time he's in a movie, he's really good. He's just not in a lot of movies.
All right, Best Actress. The 5 nominees are Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
She should win.
Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, the John Kreisel story.
Oh my God, that movie,
John, though.
is so disconcerting, and I'll never watch it again. It is.
What's it called?
If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It's got your guy Conan.
Yeah,
in it.
Conan's in it. He plays the therapist, right?
It's not funny.
Yeah.
There's no comedy in that movie. It is the most anxiety-inducing movie of the year. Again, another movie about kind of the anxieties of parenting. But yeah, Rose Byrne. Normally, we only see her. We've seen her in a bunch of comedies and stuff. She's a leading lady. She's amazing.
So you have what is it called? A psychological comedy thriller.
It's not a comedy.
ASAP Rocky's in it?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. He's
not?
in a couple movies this year. He was in the Spike Lee joint as well.
Nice.
I don't know how to say her name, but the main gal from Sentimental Value.
Yeah,
However, I don't know how to pronounce it.
she was phenomenal
Okay.
in that movie. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Emma Stone in Begonia.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And then last but not least, Chris, Kate Hudson in Song Sung Blue.
She's great. That's a hell of a sad movie, man. I didn't expect. I had no idea what I was going in to see. I had no idea what I was in for. Holy moly, that's a crazy. If it weren't a true story, I'd be like, that's the most ridiculous movie I've ever seen. But she's great.
Quickly, Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Your 5 nominees: Benicio for One Battle After
Love
Another.
it.
Sensei was
he's so
arguably
good.
the best part of
God,
that
he was
movie.
good.
Yeah,
I love
he was
that
amazing.
character.
I haven't
I
seen
wanted
that
to see
movie,
more
dude.
of Sensei. I desperately wanted to see more of Sensei.
Would
That
I
movie's-
like it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Okay.
We should go see it sometime.
Another person in that
Taco
movie
Mine.
up for Best Supporting Actor, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another.
Oh, my God.
That's a heavyweight battle between just those two, because Sean Penn
Lockjaw.
was an evil bastard in that movie.
Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein.
Zach would say he's not acting.
For Abbott?
Delroy Lindo for Sinners.
Hell yeah, that makes me really happy to hear that, because he wasn't getting a lot of love on some of the other circuits, like the smaller circuits, but he's a scene stealer in that movie.
Yeah.
And then the Golden Globe winner, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. So we'll see if he can run it back and win the Oscar as well.
I saw that something like he's the first like actor in a foreign movie that will be nominated for that award, which seems kind of preposterous.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to butcher a couple of these names, so I might not even try them, but this one I can do. Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value. This is Best Supporting Actress, and then we can wrap this up.
She's fine as hell.
Amy Madigan in Weapons.
Wow. Is that the older the lady?
The-
Okay,
Must
that makes
be.
sense.
The
That
main
makes
character.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Inga something from Sentimental Value.
Yep. That it's just
We're going to go with Wunmi Masaku from Sinners.
Yeah. She
How do you
was.
say it?
She I think it's Wunmi.
Wunmi? Masaku from Sinners.
Yeah, she was phenomenal in that movie.
Okay.
She was one of the love interests. I don't remember, there was Smoke and there was Stack, but she was one of the love
And
interests.
then the last one is Tiana Taylor from One Battle After Another.
Yeah, and she won the Golden Globe.
She did.
And she was, again, talk about a scene stealer in that movie. Perfidia Beverly Hills. Yeah, I remember her name. That's how much the character had an impact in that movie.
All due respect, Tiana Taylor sounds like somebody that they would show on the college football playoff, and then all the guys would know who she is, but nobody else would.
Oh, 100%. There is Tiana Trump. Saucy knows who I'm talking about. Saucy knows about Tiana Trump. No relation to the president.
Sauce?
I know who that is, yeah.
How do you know?
Just because I've told him about it so many
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
So I just want
secondhand.
Yeah.
2019
And
was a
firsthand?
lonely year, yeah.
I'm sure you guys have talked about this. You don't have to raise your hand, but did you guys all know who that guy was when they showed her on ESPN?
Yeah, right away.
No idea. I had no idea who she was.
She's Mount Rushmore, right, Saucy?
Yeah.
Just from what you've heard. Just from what you've heard.
Like
Through
only-
Maxx?
Yeah, through Maxx.
Are we talking OnlyFans or just in straight porn?
Hey, let's see what Sauce has learned through Maxx. Sauce, answer that question.
The latter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't all straight.
Yes. Yeah. I knew who she was, yeah. Max talks about her a lot. I say, Max, please stop.
Do you like her
Send him
posts on Instagram?
Yeah.
No, I'm not 75 and liking everything I see or commenting on everything I see on the internet. Once again, people, and I say this age because I'm not going to rip on my pal
You
and
wanted
one
to
of my
say
best friends
55
on
or
the planet.
older.
People 60 or older, mostly men, should not be on the internet. Everybody can see what you're doing.
May I say
Stop.
this? May I just say this?
Go ahead.
He's not talking about me.
No, I'm not.
He's
I'm 1,000% not talking about
I know
Chris
it sounds
Hockey.
like he is.
I don't need to be texted every day. Yeah, I saw it too. Don't comment on it. A, B. Don't write A or B. Don't say, what are your favorite parts about me? Don't say both. You can see that. It can be seen on the internet.
No,
Stop
to it.
writing or replying.
No, that did not happen.
Especially like we've talked about, Saucy. When your Instagram name is your first and last name.
Yes. Or-
Don't do it.
Not even a burner account.
Don't. So,
Wow.
about 4 or 5 months ago, a good pal of mine sent me a obvious bot, obviously fishing for information. It was followed by 2 people I'm related to. It's obviously a fake person. 2 people I'm related to follow this person. What are you doing?
Who are those 2 people?
Not going to say, but you can figure it out. They're over 60 years old. Get off
Your
the
mom
internet.
and dad?
No.
Your dad and your Uncle Peter?
Yes. Get off the internet.
Your Uncle Peter's over 60?
Yeah, he's 60. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dad?
Knew that was coming.
Yeah. You and Hawk need to get your dads off of
We need to do what now?
from social
You need to
media.
get off.
Somebody
You need to find a way to get off.
Hey, I speak for a few of us that work here. And somebody real famous from this city, real famous, follows every single woman that's ever been on the internet. Stop doing that.
And it's not who you think. It's not a fan
No,
person.
it's not Rosie.
They're just. Yeah.
It-
I mean, it is, but you're not talking about him.
But that's exactly what I thought you were talking
no,
about.
it's not.
We're talking about somebody else.
Sometimes they're just fishing.
They're casting a pretty wide net.
Yeah, they're following everybody.
And do they really think that fish is going to bite?
No.
No.
No, they think that's going to, but
No.
they never.
Yeah, it's a Lloyd Christmas 1 in a million.
But what if she's not AI?
Well said.
She looks like she's AI,
Yeah.
but what if she's not?
No.
What if she's willing to fly all the way from Slovakia to St. Louis Park?
She looks like she's D to F.
Yeah, she's obviously fake.
All right, we'll ask Tom Pelissero when we come back who he follows on the internet and what kind of porn stars he likes from time to time. That's this Power Trip Morning Show after this.
Bye, Maxo. There he goes.
Love you.
There he goes. Archie Morning Show at 8:23. Final segment with Ben Lieber as well. Well, I guess final segment of the show period, but he's a short timer, you know? Mm-hmm. I miss you when you're not here.
I miss you too.
I miss your
I did
smell.
miss you. I really did miss you guys.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you, Ben.
I loved listening to you, though. That was so cool. I did. I hated not being able to talk to you down the line, though.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that too.
Yeah, because it's like you tell me so much. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Having you and Bursich in my ear so often is like a dream come true because you guys are telling me things about football I would never, ever know. Like the average fan doesn't get to hear 2 former professional NFL linebackers talking about what's happening on defense. It's the coolest thing ever, man. As a football fan, it's super cool. So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, thanks.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be the same if Tom Pelissero was my friend.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
He's not your friend.
Well, I
would say he's your friend.
I think he's my friend, but I'm not sure he'd call me
He's
his
something.
friend. But it'd be cool if he'd call me during the game and be like, Hawk, did you see that? But he's never done that.
What if he just
Hey,
called
Hawk,
to say he loved you?
Don't you normally have the lights off during the segment?
Oh, Tom.
I worked on my tan.
You don't know
Let's
the
just
damage.
let's turn them down.
Oh man! Ouch!
This is Tom's last time on the show.
There we go.
Tom
There
is
we go.
salty today.
Let's see if this helps.
Is that better?
Much better.
That's
Much better.
Way, yes.
I still
I feel
think it's
like-
too much light.
No,
Still
turn
too
them
much
all the
light.
way on.
Who was the floating head on the Pee Wee Herman show? The magic guy?
Yeah,
was
in the
just a floating
box.
head? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I feel like.
Yeah,
when
because
the
you're
lights are-
wearing all black.
Yeah.
Say all you can see is your head.
Come on. You guys are crushing Corey's brain right now. His brain.
He can't think of it, can he?
He can't think of it.
He hates this. Tom, if he can't remember a
hates
name,
this.
he loses it. And we aren't allowed to move on until he figures it out.
No, you guys.
Jambi?
Jambi?
Jambi.
Jambi.
Yes.
I
Jambi.
don't think I would have had it if you hadn't given me the first letter, though.
Man. Anyway,
Man.
Bell Bank brings you Tom Pelissero, the meanest man in America. And here we are.
He's mean.
Here we are. Can you explain to me what in the sweet hell happened in Buffalo yesterday and what the reaction must be like for Buffalo fans right now?
Terry Pegula, the owner of the Bills, does not speak publicly very often. When he does not hold back. I mean, I've known Terry a little bit since he first bought the Bills, going through a variety of different coaching changes, finally landed on the right one 9 years ago with Sean McDermott. But when he gets up there and just starts saying, yeah, this is why. It was the Broncos game. I walked around the locker room. I saw Josh Allen balling in his locker. He more or less was like, you got the vibe that was it, that it was over. And 2 days later, he fires McDermott. Now, there were other unique parts of that press conference, like Brandon Beane being pressed on not getting the wide receiver position right, which we can, argue whether that's the case or whether there were other things. And Pegula jumps in and says, actually, it was the coaches who wanted Keon Coleman, not Beane, which puts Brandon in kind of a weird spot here. But listen, if you take that press conference in its totality, and it was wild, which is exactly what I would expect, knowing Terry. The real message here was, he decided essentially that as much as Sean may have been frustrated with the roster, he didn't want to have an environment where, there was a coach, frankly, pushing back against, the way that someone who was equal to him on the organizational chart was handling his side of the business. And so not only does he fire Sean McDermott, he promotes Brandon Beane. Beane will now be over the new coach. He's going to run the search. The new coach will report to him. In the end, Terry decided that, the blame for, as he referenced yesterday, the 13 seconds, that was when they took the lead on the Chiefs and somehow Mahomes took them down and they still won that game. Missed field goals late, all these situations where, the common thread was not being able to get a stop when you need a stop. Obviously in the Denver game, there's, why are you running another play at the end of the first half and Josh Allen starts running and fumbles and you give him a field goal. And then at the end of the game, you're in a position where you're losing that game instead of being tied. It's all these different things, It would have been really probably more efficient to just go, it was time. 9 years is a long time. We couldn't get over the hump. He added a few more details than that. Anybody who knows Terry isn't surprised by that. And now they've got, probably I would say the best job out there because you're working with the best player on the planet.
Tom, this morning they released the MVP finalists for the NFL. Drake May, Matt Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, and Christian McCaffrey. Dumb question. Maybe we've talked to you about this in the past. Do you have an MVP vote? Are you one of them?
I do not, because the AP for a long time had a standing rule that anyone who works at NFL Network cannot have a vote.
Oh.
So I did have one when I was at USA Today. It was taken away from me in 2017. Then last year, when there were some questions being raised about who was on the panel, I decided to get on social media and post something questioning that there were, people associated with sports books, people that own parts of teams, no one from NFL Network. That became a viral post that then caused the AP to reevaluate its system. They gave several of my colleagues votes. Surprisingly, I did not get mine back. So I directly impacted, I believe, the makeup of the panel. It's probably for the best that I don't have a vote. But if I did have one, I would do it the same way that I always did it back when I did have one, which was poll people within the league who are a lot smarter than me. I still do that poll toward the end of every season. Matthew Stafford was the winner in that poll. He was. I think that other than obviously he'd had a not great game on national TV against the Falcons down the stretch, but on the whole, he was the best player in football this year. I think that's who's going to win. But now that they went to this ranked choice voting system, everything's a little bit different than it was, back when I had to vote 9 years ago.
Tom Pelissero, I do want to get your thoughts on the recent news from yesterday. We all understand that Brian Flores signed his extension, but there is a caveat to all that. If he actually gets asked to be the head coach of one of the teams that's available right now, he can take that. So can you just kind of break down what it all means for both sides, the Vikings and Brian Flores?
The short version is the only way to get Brian Flores now is as your head coach. Up until yesterday, and really they had agreed to terms last week, but it got finalized and signed yesterday. Up until that time, another team, whether that were the Commanders who interviewed him, whether that was the Packers who have an opening, whether that was the 49ers, you could have potentially lured him as a defensive coordinator. I know Kevin O'Connell was always confident that Brian Flores was going to come back. My understanding is they made a huge offer, the type that Flores as a D coordinator was not going to be able to refuse. He is still in the mix. He interviewed with the Steelers on Tuesday. He previously interviewed for the Ravens head coaching job as well. But if one of those does not come through, then Flo's going to be back in Minnesota, which is a coup for the Vikings. Because again, he could have said, you know what? It's been a good 3 years. I'm not getting the head coaching opportunities that I might think that I should be getting. I'm going to go someplace else and see whether that changes. He decided Minnesota was the right place for him. There were millions of reasons for him to decide that it was the right place for him. We'll see what shakes out in those head coaching searches. But right now, it looks like he'll be back in Minnesota.
That's fantastic. I think that's all the news that we all wanted to hear. I mean, obviously, I think it was going to be excited for him if he does get a head coaching opportunity. But it seems like that window is closing more and more. I do want to kind of shift and ask you about the matchups this weekend. Is there? I know that the Broncos are doing everything they can to prop up Jarrett Stidham, but in your heart of hearts, in your football mind, do they legit have a chance against this Patriots defense?
Well, I would also say, how good can the Broncos defense been? Because that's really what's driven them all season. They have not been an offensive football team. Obviously, Sean Payton is really smart with offense and quarterback play. But if you look back through the season, I mean, there were plenty of times where Bo Nix didn't play all that great, and they're still winning games that might be a little bit ugly, and they might be, because the defense is creating takeaways, whatever it is. The defense has to play the best game they've played all season. I would not put all the pressure on Jarrett Stidham. Certainly, he's got to avoid the big mistakes. If when I went back and just looked at my scouting report, because the guy hasn't played very much football. Let's be honest here. He hasn't started a game since Russell Wilson was benched at the end of 2023, and he started those last 2 games. He's taken 1 snap this season. It was a kneel down. We have not seen the guy play a meaningful snap of football in over 2 years. But if you go back to, the original stuff out of college, he throws a really pretty ball. He handled a lot at Auburn. There were just, there were basic kind of mechanical and accuracy things that he had to work his way through. He's been a top backup. Obviously, the year before that, he got the opportunity to play in Vegas down the stretch after they benched Derek Carr. That's where his opportunities have come in the NFL. He was a Patriots draft pick, but the most we've seen of Jarrett Stidham was when they went, all right, Derek Carr's not going to be back. We got to bench him, not run the risk of him getting hurt and us owing him his contract. All right, Stiddy, you're up. Then the Broncos, all right, same deal with Russell Wilson. We don't want to risk him getting injured, him triggering guarantees. All right, Stiddy, you're up. He hasn't played very much. And there's a real unknown to this. I would say, a lot of it's going to come down to how effectively can they run the football. Sean's going to try to get him some easy passes, get him in rhythm. But, if they're throwing the ball 35, 40 times in this game, I think it's a strong sign the Broncos aren't winning. They got to control it. They got to limit possessions, and that defense has to play the best they have the entire season.
We heard all week, Tom, about how good of a job Kurt Cignetti has done with Indiana. How good of a job has Mike Vrabel done with this Patriots team?
It's unbelievable. And in that same poll that I did, Vrabel was the runaway winner. Not that there's not a great case for Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Liam Cohen. I mean, there were a bunch of coaches that did phenomenal work. Kyle Shanahan, too, keeping that 49ers team afloat amidst all the injuries they had through the course of the season. But when you think the Patriots were a 4-win team 2 years in a row, Belichick's last year, Gerard Mayo's last year, for them to, now they spent a ton of money in free agency. I mean, they spent top dollar to bring in Milton Williams, who's been an impact player. Stephon Diggs, who made one of the catches of the year last week, where somehow in traffic, 2 guys hitting him, hands catch, holds it to the ground. I mean, Diggs has had a phenomenal season. But also, you have to eradicate a lot of losing culture that had been in that building. For as good as the Patriots were for the bulk of Bill Belichick's tenure, it's still remarkable, the way that they flip that thing around. And that speaks to how detailed Vrabel is. No coach in the NFL, I would say, is more in control of situations, of rules, of game management. And you can see it. The way that his presence impacts guys. He's a disciplinarian of sorts in that, they've got hard rules. Never be a minute late to a training session, a treatment session, practice, meetings. I mean, there's an accountability that comes with Vrabel there, but, he doesn't evoke that in a way that's a negative culture, where Bill Belichick for a long time, and Vrabel, of course, played under him, had a negative reinforcement culture. It was highly successful, but for this generation of players, I don't know that always is something that's really effective to getting through. Vrabel's able to walk that line. There's a belief that comes with it. Again, no situation is out of his control. Josh McDaniels also deserves a ton of credit for the work that he's been able to do with Drake May and that offense, getting May to go from being a guy that, hey, last year you see some signs, you see some flashes. He's had some good stretches here. To now we're talking about him in the MVP conversation and a finalist for that award. Can't say enough about the job that Mike Vrabel has done, and now going up against a guy in Sean Payton who's done it for a long time. The playoff success has not been there for Sean in recent years, but this year getting his first playoff win as the Broncos head coach, having the 1 seed, where now they're playing at home for a shot in Super Bowl 60. It's a cool matchup. It'd probably be more fun if Bo Nix were out there, but it definitely adds to the drama of, let's see, Sean's calling card has always been what he can do with defense. Let's see what he can do with, basically 7 days to get a guy ready who hasn't played a snap all year.
Tom, give me a team whose quarterback room or quarterback situation directly affects the Vikings offseason the most. Like, is there a domino that Vikings fans should be watching to fall?
I mean, I'm looking at my board right here. I've got it all mapped out. I mean, there's so many of them when you talk about, how do they play it? Let's start with the obvious ones, Arizona and Miami. I would anticipate, not for sure, because you could try to trade them, but I anticipate Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa are probably going to get cut. So immediately those two guys are going to go back out on the market. You got San Francisco, with Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan said the other day, that he, anticipates Mac Jones being back on the roster. I told you guys, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I think the same thing. Brock Purdy, as good as he is, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in NFL history, but he's missed time every year. He's missed time every year. You want an effective backup, and Mac Jones has shown, even with the injuries he was dealing with, he can be that backup on a pretty economical type of a contract. There's other teams, in terms of exactly how do the Jets approach it. Odds are they're going to release Justin Fields. So that's another guy who drops out there onto the market. Pittsburgh, if Mike McCarthy gets that job, that's probably the one coach on the planet that Aaron Rodgers would want to play for outside of Mike Tomlin. If not, Aaron has to make a decision. I think it'll take less time than it did a year ago. He showed at the end of the year he's got something left. Does he make another run at trying to get himself into Minnesota? It's hard to imagine that works, just for the same reasons that it didn't work last year with J.J. McCarthy. But I wouldn't, rule out anything in that regard. What does Las Vegas do with Geno Smith? They're going to have another new coaching staff this year. Is he back? Are they releasing him? That's another guy who potentially could be out there on the market. I mean, we can go round and round. There's a long list of different quarterback situations. I would just say there's only 10 to 12 teams right now that I would confidently say who their starting quarterback is going to be. There's not a lot of guys in the draft. Fernando Mendoza showed again on Monday night, that he's all the reasons that he's probably the number one pick. And Mark Davis, Tom Brady, John Spytek, they were all there to witness him. I think that it would take the king of kings ransoms to get the number one pick away from Las Vegas. After that, Ty Simpson's probably QB2 going into the process. How high is he realistically going to go? I don't think the Vikings, take a quarterback in the first round regardless, but to the extent that there's not a lot of guys for other teams to take, that means it is going to be a seller's market more than a buyer's market. The prices on these guys are probably going to be expensive. Daniel Jones is the top free agent. He's coming off an Achilles injury. I know the Colts want him back. Can they find the number that gets it done? Would the Vikings even consider re-engaging? It seems unlikely based on how things played out last year, but all these things are part of the broader swath, not to mention that there's going to be a bunch of developmental type quarterbacks that are in this draft as well. Is there somebody that as they go through the process, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi we'll see. It's early, But these things, especially those releases, they're probably going to progress sooner than later.
All right, this is my parting question for you, Tom Pelissero. We'll keep it with the Vikings. Have you heard anything about the movement of Durante Jones? I know that he was getting some looks as well as defensive coordinator positions. Now that B-Flow's back, is it all likely that he's going to stick around and stay in his position with the Vikings? And then outside of the offensive line situation of finding a new coach, like, are we basically running it back with the coaching staff, maybe except for maybe a few coaches here and there?
It does seem that way in all likelihood here. With Durante, I know he wants to be a coordinator. And, as most assistant coaches who have been in the league as long as he have would want to do. He's certainly on the radar for the Jets and for the Packers. I think there's at least one other team that's requested him as well. So he's one of those guys. He's had interviews in the past. You'd think his time is coming. He's a really sharp coach who's done a good job on that team. These coordinator situations, though, are always hard to predict. Some of them are relationships. Some are, who have you gone up against? Every team's going to have, just like with head coaches, different criteria. If you want a guy who's been a coordinator and has experience, you're probably going to go toward, the Jonathan Gannons of the world, not Durante Jones, but he potentially will have an opportunity here. I was surprised, that Chris Cooper was let go as the offensive line coach. That wasn't on my radar. I don't get the sense that it was on Coop's radar either. But there's going to be, when you look at what the Vikings are working with, when you look at, the respect that Kevin O'Connell commands within the league, I think he's going to have options. One of the things that I would point out is there's still so many offensive coordinator jobs, just like defensive coordinator jobs. When you add up 9 new coaching staffs, 10 now. The number keeps increasing every time I'm on the show. 10 new coaching staffs. Only one, I believe, has opted at this point to retain a defensive coordinator and has hired an offensive coordinator. That's, what's taken place in Atlanta with Kevin Stefanski hiring Tommy Rees, bringing back Jeff Ulbrich. You've got some of the other offensive coordinator jobs, Zach Robinson going to Tampa, Eric Bieniemy back in Kansas City, that have filled up. But there's still enough dominoes here that some of those, let's say the in limbo offensive coordinator candidates are still waiting to see, all right, am I going to go be an OC somewhere? Or am I potentially going to go and be a position coach or have some type of an elevated title? Like one name that would jump to mind would be Frank Smith, who's been the offensive coordinator with the Dolphins, has been one of the most highly regarded coordinators. He was named the number 1 coordinator in NFLPA poll a couple of years ago. He well could be an OC, depending who gets some of these head coaching jobs. If he's not, he's always been a respected offensive line coach. Somebody like that, I don't think that Kevin O'Connell is just going to go and hire a first timer. This is a team that's ready to roll. You have to, one way or another, get Christian Darrisaw back, ready to go, fully healthy and ready to play 17 games this season. I would think you'd want somebody with experience, somebody who can work with players. That's just one name, Frank Smith, but I would say that, certainly he's going to be looking and he's going to have options just because of the situation and the environment that they've got in Minnesota.
Tom, before we let you go, I'm going to ask you just a real quick question that you'll be able to answer quickly. Why is football so popular?
You said that's one quick question, is why is football so popular? Why is it the biggest sport on the planet?
Yeah, let me tell. I'll give you a little insight on why I'm asking. Chuck Klosterman just released a book 2 days ago. It's called Football, and it's about that exact subject. And I don't know if you know who Chuck Klosterman is. He's one of my favorite authors. Corey feels the same way. I love him. Can't wait to have him on the show again and talk to him about it. But that's essentially what the book is about. Why is football the most perfect sport specifically for Americans? If you were off the top of your head, how would you answer that question?
I would start by the fact that the NFL, unlike other professional sports right now in the United States, is a national and they hope to be a global sport. Baseball is hyper-regional, and it's been impacted over the years by the lack of a salary cap, by the lack of any type of structure, the fact that the Yankees can buy every player and the Twins can choose to, bank their money instead of spending it on free agents. The NBA also has been hyper-local. The NHL has as well. Part of that is, a big part of it is the media deals. It's the fact that the regional sports networks have gobbled up, all these different things. And, as everybody who didn't watch a Timberwolves game for 5 years like me knows, there were a lot of fights. There were business models that were no longer effective. Now that streaming has become a bigger piece and I can have the FanDuel Sports TV app on my TV, hey, I'm back to watching some Minnesota sports again. But there was a phase where, there were bankruptcy hearings and there's, the major sports leagues taking over the television rights to some teams. It's because the model was upside down, because there were some teams that could draw far more money from those rights deals. If you're the New York Yankees, you've got a lot more money coming in than the Colorado Rockies. And that's just the way that it is. The NFL, based upon the brilliance of the people who were running the sport in the 1950s and 1960s and putting games on CBS and putting games on national networks. And that's only expanded. They've been ahead of the game for many years as well. There was Mark Cuban had the quote years ago, that the NFL was going to get too big. Pigs get, what was it? Pigs get something, hogs get slaughtered, whatever the hell the quote was. But it was, the prediction was the NFL was going to become too big. It was going to eventually wear people out and the golden goose would get cooked. The opposite has happened, and it's because 15 years ago, their broadcasting committee, Jonathan Kraft, one of the Patriots owners was a big piece of it. They were ahead of the game in understanding that rather than having 3 or 4 networks like have been the traditional bidders, in other words, when people were saying, well, these billion-dollar contracts aren't going to exist anymore because people are going to stop having cable TV and the networks won't have as much power. The way the NFL looked at it was, we've only had 3 or 4 bidders at the table for years. Now with these streaming services, we'll have 100 bidders that are all trying to get a piece. And not only is it, there's been the CBS package and the Fox package, and all right, NBC has 1 game a week, and ESPN, ABC have 1 game a week. Now we're selling off random ass Black Friday games and a game in Brazil and Christmas games, and you have all these other entities, and they're being sold to these bidders that weren't even in the space. It all began, people forget about this, they did streaming games on Twitter. That didn't work out great, but it was an initial experiment. What if we took a game and put it on a specific micro thing? Twitter was huge, but it was this thing that the average NFL fan wasn't used to having to log on to Twitter and figure out how to watch a game. Yeah. That didn't go great because the stream wasn't great, but it also opened the eyes of, we can definitely do this and people are going to come. And that's where you now have Prime and Peacock. And I can't even remember all the different places. Prime has a game all the time, but there's a exclusive Peacock game, and you're going to put these things in different places. That's going to continue to happen, and people are going to bitch and moan about it because now I got to pay, I got to have all these different streaming services. What they lose is that you still get every one of your games, every one of your team's games that are free. You're not paying for an app. You're not paying for a regional sports network. You still get all these the national games. You still get 2 other games every single Sunday in the noon window and or the 3 p.m. window central. You get the NBC game. You get the Thursday night game. That's on Prime. But you get the Monday night game as well that's streamed on all kinds of different places. And if you have any streaming service at all, you don't have to pay separately for it. You still have a larger chunk of games that are going out to a broad national audience. The next level of this, and where they're trying to extend it, and where the 2028 Olympics are so important, is because that's their opportunity. The reason the NFL owners are going to be sitting there going, God, I don't want Justin Jefferson out there, playing, and he, shreds his ACL in July, and I lose him for the season. The NFL is going to go, guys, do you understand the billions and billions of dollars? If we can launch this, and we put the best players out there, and even if it's, Lamar Jackson throwing to Justin Jefferson, dunking over some poor kid, the one NFL player from Angola, to use the 1992 Dream Team example, it's still going to be like, oh my God, this is awesome. And the world will be watching. You're going to see an extension where every team eventually is playing an international game. My personal prediction, not speaking on behalf of the NFL, I believe eventually it'll be 2 international games for every team. And you will send pods into different countries, 4 teams at a time, and they'll play crossover games and do 2 games over a 2-week span. And you can place those different things. You can launch it in China. You can launch it not just, in Germany. You can take it to Africa. You can take it to South America, Australia, where the Rams are going to play a game next year. That's a long answer to a short question, Hawk. But essentially, the reason it's the biggest sport in the country is because where all the other teams became tribal and very much hyper-focused on, you are going to pay to watch your team 162 games this summer, and we're not going to pay to actually bring in players you want to see. We're going to pocket the money because, hey, we don't have the deal the Yankees have, so what are the odds we're going to spend an extra $50 million and we still are anywhere close to a $300 million payroll? Well, we're just going to be the little engine that could and try to win. The NFL has a salary cap. They have a salary floor. Everybody in the aggregate spends the same amount of money roughly over a long period of time. You have national audience. You have national games all the time. You cannot avoid the NFL. If I didn't subscribe to an app on my TV, I wouldn't even know it's basketball season unless I accidentally stumble across something. The NFL is unavoidable. It is woven into the fabric of society. And whether you want to say, the NFL's greedy, the owners are greedy, whatever, it has been extremely effective, and you still get more free football than you get free anything else.
Fantastic
Dude, that was
answer.
excellent, brother.
We also would have accepted cool catches.
Yeah.
It's also very parodious.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
I thought about trying to filibuster all the way to the top of the hour just to
Almost.
see if eventually
You
you
almost
cut me
did.
off.
Yeah.
I just blow through your break, piss off your sponsors, and
all good.
That was A+.
That answers why you're there and we're still here, Tom. That was really good. Well done, man. Well
Yeah,
done.
Sauce, your answer was because I like football. It's
That's
fun.
what you said. Yeah, and you said boobs at one point.
And I've never been able to talk that long on this show.
Not unless
I didn't
you're
even
Rick and
mention
Rosie.
fantasy football in there either.
No,
Good
you
point.
did not.
No,
Well
you
done,
blew
dude.
it.
Well
You blew it.
said.
Thank you, brother.
Tom, you're the best, man.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
All right, Tom
Here's
Pelissero.
Bell
Yep.
Bank. Thank
What
you
an
so
answer.
much. No doubt.
That was outstanding. Good question.
Why don't you
Rogers.
try? Why do you think football's so big?
Fantasy football. It's something. No, but it's.
I thought you were done.
It's not on for 8 months like the basketball season is, which starts in October and ends in June. Is that 8 months?
Yeah.
It's on too long. And even Zacho's sport, it's on too long. You miss football. Football, the NFL makes the heart grow fonder, even though they have put themselves in every month.
I think
miss
it's just made. It's a sport made for TV.
Yes.
The yellow line.
They own a day of the week.
It's easy to follow. You don't have to watch the whole game to get an idea where you're at. It's a cool sport.
Well said.
How
And
long
there's
are you
boobs.
going to
I'm sorry that Zach and I annoyed
Yeah.
you.
Really, honestly, you guys, you got to listen to Close to Me because he talks about why hockey isn't as good. He talks about why basketball isn't as good. Why he breaks it all down, not in a way that sounds homerist. He's not like saying it's my favorite sport and this is why. He's saying this is why it's a better television sport than any other sport, and it makes so much sense. He's so good. I'm only 2 chapters into it, Court, and
I'm
it's
super
that
pumped.
good.
Had not heard about it at all.
It's called football. It's Chuck Close
Can't
to
wait.
Me. Came out 2 days ago.
It's the best.
Now it's time for
Headline
All
today.
right, briefly.
Yeah, well played, Zacho.
There's a new trend called house burping. You've maybe done it. You just didn't know you were doing it. I guess the new thing is house burping. It's when you open your doors and windows to let the stale air out and new air in. So basically, you air your place out in the morning. You house burp.
Oh, I've never heard it called that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I mean, that's gross.
Vanna White married her partner after more than 12 years together. I've never known her situation. I just assumed she's been married for 50
Yeah,
years.
same.
I never asked.
She got married like what? I don't know. I thought she had kids. Didn't she have kids?
Who did she marry? Who was the first person she married, Hawk?
Don Van Dyke.
Okay.
Oh,
I just house burp.
that's
Sorry, I just
not a house burp.
just open all the windows. That's what it's my house, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a house.
Listen
dump.
to the Hulkster.
Time flies. It was on this date
Dwight.
in 2010, so 16 years ago. Conan O'Brien accepted a $45 million buyout and made his final appearance as the host of The Tonight Show.
Man.
Hard to be too upset.
Man. He got completely screwed, but $45 million makes it a little easier.
Yep.
Well, a lot of that went to his staff.
Yeah, because he's the best dude ever.
Paid all
He's the GOAT.
his entire staff. Yeah, so he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Good for him.
He's very good on TV.
Yeah.
No,
Like the
and his
football.
podcast is incredible.
What's his podcast called, Hawk?
2 girls, 1 cup.
My God, you need to leave. You need to self-burp.
I didn't name it.
Oh, sorry.
I think he self-burped this morning.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has.
I think I will
In the
later.
parking lot.
How dare you? It's too cold out there.
Twins pitcher Pablo Lopez makes his power trip debut tomorrow. He should be here around 7:15 or so. He'll play initials at 8:15. John Kriesel tomorrow. Probably Mr. Z tomorrow. Who knows? Mark Parrish, Marnie Gellner. Lots to get to tomorrow. 5:30 to 9. 9 to noon is next.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
You too, Abba Dabba. Stay warm. Bundle up, everybody. Take care of yourself, okay? Be careful. Love you. Bye.